calling and collapse.
All right.
Thank you, Tony. Hi, everyone. I call this meeting to order is 6:30, November 12th, 2025. First thing is approval of minutes from the October 9th meeting.
Does anybody have any notes or changes?
The only thing is that honeycut is spelled wrong.
Oh.
That's it.
The spelling is very good. Can you point
Where
it
is
out?
it?
It's in the Students for Stewardship section
In
from
the back.
the fourth. Honeycut Food Forest in the second line.
Okay, yes.
More than halfway through. It's HUNNICUTT.
HUMNICUT.
Double check.
Anyone taking minutes tonight?
H-U-N-N, good question.
Apologies.
There she is.
Traffic is back.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, there were three cops standing there, so.
Pass that down.
Thank you for coming. I started looking at you to take minutes.
Okay, Nancy. We'll wait for you to turn on your computer.
It is already on,
She's
and the
ready.
documents open.
Bam. Bam.
We were saying we were going to approve the
Minutes.
minutes. And the only thing I found was that honeycut was just spelled wrong.
Gotcha.
On the second page.
I move that we accept the minutes as amended.
Thank
Second.
you, all agree? Yes. Thank you. All in favor?
I do have one other thing. In there, in the recycling services, we don't mention Jacob Kaiser's name at all for the university
Recycling
facilities.
services.
Because we talk about everybody who presented in their name, but with recycling services, it doesn't mention Jacob Kaiser. So
I think I didn't know his name.
okay,
So if we just add that.
yes,
Kaiser
Kaiser
like
is
the roll?
K-I-S-E-R.
K-I-S-E-R.
Jacob Kaiser.
Mm-hmm.
So we will add Jacob Kaiser's name and recycling services. So two changes. Any other? Any other changes? No? All right. Thank you, everyone. All in favor? Aye. Yeah. Public comments. We have three people here. We invite you for your public comments. We have 3 minutes time limit, but I believe there is someone who wanted to take 2 more extra minutes. And I suggest that we go ahead with that.
So a sign-in sheet of who these people are.
Something to bring the sign-in sheet.
We have a piece of paper, so you can sign in afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you.
My name is Jack Winger, and I came to work for Clemson in 1970 as an assistant county agent in Newberry County, South Carolina. And they put on my desk a manual about that thick called the Pesticide Handbook, and that was the gospel. When I got a call and somebody had a problem, pages that on, and I read them the recommendation, and here's the chemical, and here's how to mix it, and so on. Life changed. And just short version to that, life changed. One of my last posts was as a area agent in the Low Country, dealing with home horticulture and teaching the Master Gardener program in Colleton, Jasper, and Beaufort counties. I got a call one day from a lady in Sun City, and let me back up one step. We'd had a wonderful dragonfly year that spring. There were dragonflies everywhere. Literally, I could see them coming at my windshield as I was driving through a swampy area. It was one of those years when the ephemeral ponds had the water in them at just the right time, and the dragonfly hatch was amazing. I got a call from a lady at Sun City, and she says, I need to know how to get rid of these dragonflies. She said, they're all over my place. They're all over my patio, and I need to. And I'm like, if I knew what would get rid of them, I'm not going to say. So I started talking to her about beneficial organisms, beneficial insects, and how the dragonflies had well earned their nickname of skeeterhawk, and that they were eating a lot of the mosquitoes that were coming out of that wetland that Sun City was built in the middle of. So there was kind of a radical change there. And I think we saw pollution, if you will, shift from agricultural concerns to homeowner concerns. As our communities have grown, people want that perfect green lawn. They're going to spray, they're going to fertilize, they're going to water, and all of that is environmentally negative. So I'd like to just address a few points tonight. You have my notes. I promise I'm not going to read my notes to you. I'll answer questions if you have questions or comments. But I submit to you that traditional manicured lawn is an environmental disaster. And I'd like to offer you some ways that you can help your community work around that and improve their approach to doing things. I was sitting at my computer one Saturday night fishing for some information to use in a program that I was doing the upcoming week. Ran across a little program in Florida called Florida Yards and Neighborhoods. Now, I've been teaching composting, and I've been teaching soil testing and careful fertilization, and I've even been teaching being careful about what you sprayed and what you killed, because some of those things that looked really bad in the landscape are really good bugs, and they're eating the bad bugs, and the eggs are the bad bugs. And when I saw that all come together in a set of principles that were pulled together there, I'm like, wow, this ties everything together. It's a holistic approach. And so I made contact with the people in Florida, did a lot of midnight work, found some money through DHEC, and came up with what became Clemson Extension's very first interactive CD that was published in about 2001. And I'm very proud of that little piece of work, and I'm being a show-off right now, and I'll put that away, and we'll get down to the facts. Whatever program you look at boils down to 7, 8, or 9 core principles, and I've listed those there. Right plant, right place. Water efficiently. Fertilize appropriately. I promised I wouldn't read the notes to you. Mulching. Attracting wildlife. Managing yard pests responsibly. I hope you'll check out that link from Dr. David Orr at NC State if you haven't already, because he just has all the good bugs there on his website and helps people identify and know what you don't want to spray and kill, like dragonflies and larvae of antlions and all kinds of things. Clemson has a program for recycling yard waste, and I understand that a resident of the city can go almost any time and get yard waste from the I'll call it composting point. Create a healthy ecosystem, and that's largely a combination of all these other components. Again, we've gotten into monocultures. We've gotten to where we plant dozens, if not hundreds, of things like, back in the day, red tip. More recently, the Leland cypress, which suffer from the root rot. And it's a simple thing to design. If you want to put a 300-foot screen down the side of your property, don't put 47 or 147 Leland cypress or red tip or anything, but shake that up a little bit and make it a mixed evergreen screen. And you avoid the problems that come with monoculture, because when everybody planted red tip photinia in the 70s, and along about 1980, here comes the photinia leaf spot, and it just wiped out people's money plants that they'd spent good money on. So anyway, I would say to you that when you go looking for this information, be internet savvy. Regional information is important. If it's from an EDU website, that's generally a university. And I'm a fact checker. My wife will tell you, we go on a boat tour through the Santee swamps, and the guide is telling these facts, and I'm saying, interesting, yeah, okay. And oops, nope, they missed that one. They got a little misinformed. So I listed here some of the programs that you might go take a look at that you might find as models for things that the city of Clemson might do. That Florida Yards and Neighborhoods, there's still a lot of stuff online with Carolina Yards and Neighborhoods from Clemson University. The Chesapeake Bay Foundation does some really good work in this area. The city of Chesapeake, Virginia has a real simple and clean website that I would highly recommend if you're thinking about putting some additional resources on the City of Clemson's website, that you look at that and maybe model some of that. South Carolina Native Plant Society is where your folks can get their American beauty berries and their native hollies and other plants that are environmentally friendly, that fit in our local ecosystems, and that nourish and nurture wildlife and beneficial insects and so forth. So I looked at your work and growing a greener Clemson, and if I were making recommendations to you, which you haven't asked me for, I would just clean up that website, put some of these additional resources on there for your folks to have right at hand. And then you have that wonderful resource of Clemson University right here, your next door neighbor, literally. And there are people at Clemson with expertise in all of these areas, and they like to come out and do workshops, whether it's building rain barrels, or whether it's recognizing beneficial insects, or whether it's doing a riparian buffer to protect the lake. You know, we've got a serious population situation around Lake Hartwell, and I've toured some of the lake shores, and I've seen some good and I've seen some bad, and frankly I've seen some ugly. So those are other areas that you can address through programs. And Ms. Liemacher mentioned a program that she's interested in, and she called it No Mow May. I've told people for years, just pick a little spot in the corner of your yard and stop mowing it and see what happens. There's amazing things going to happen there with the natural succession that starts. Now, if you get a Bradford pear in there, you need to yank that sucker out, and there's a few other things that you might want to yank out, but that's a start to bringing your yard back to some part of natural. I gave you a link for a rewilding article from the University of Georgia, and that's a very interesting concept. The problem is it clashes with what your neighbors think is the perfect yard. And so in Florida, in alignment with the Florida Yards and Neighborhoods program, the state passed an ordinance that says if you're doing a yard that's using these principles, and you're using these principles in your yard, then your homeowners association or your town can't say you're breaking the law. And I found that really interesting and refreshing, that at the state level they said people are going to be allowed to do this the right way. So I would just say that start with some of those community programs. The resources are here at your hand, and I'm not looking for a job, I'm not looking for a committee appointment, and I'm definitely not looking for a consulting gig, but I will sit down with any group that you would like me to and talk about some of these things, because frankly, every one of these things is an hour-long program, and you got it in, more time than I had.
No, you can go ahead. I mean, yeah.
But thank you so much for your attention and your time, and if you have questions, I'd be happy to try to respond or work with you at a different time.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
This is wonderful.
Yeah, it was
Amazing, very informative. Thank you.
I wish we had known you before our sustainability event. We had an event a month ago, and that would have been a good opportunity to spread your words.
And there's handouts of this information that Mr. Queener was just talking about at the edge of that desk, if anybody would like to grab a copy, and it has all the links to the websites.
Also, Mr. Queener, there is a grant that we got with the city for a green infrastructure. Is that open to the public, Tony?
It's not, it's just, invitation only to local stakeholders.
Gotcha.
But once it's done,
Okay. So
but I would love to sit down with you, sir.
we're working on this exact stuff right now. So it's a blessing that you came. And yes, hopefully
Thank
we
you so very
can
much.
talk more about it.
Is there any way, if some individual want to contact you, any contact email or phone number or any other contact information?
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Is there any contact information for you, like if somebody wants to
I
reach out to you?
I forwarded Mr. Queener's email address.
Okay.
It's an email that I sent to everybody
Oh, yeah,
with his
okay.
attachment.
No, I meant to put it on here, and I just got busy at the library, and it didn't make it where it was supposed to be.
Yes, sir. So, yes, it's an email that I forwarded to the committee, his email address.
Thank you so much. Definitely, so wonderful information. And actually, some of the things which you talked, it is in our project line, and we are working on it, which will be our, one of the presentation here, wildlife certification. Goes with that.
Yeah.
And I do believe we will shortly be passing something maybe next month to talk about how we want to see our section of the website created or updated. I think we should go ahead and plan to make that formal for next month and include some of these
Yeah,
things.
definitely.
And that'll give us some time too, to be able to look at everything ourselves, so we know what we're recommending. With eyes on.
Any other questions from anybody? Well, thank you so much again. Thank you very much again for giving this information and coming and doing the presentation. Our next item in our agenda. Any other? Oh, okay. Any other public comments? Anyone else here?
I have something to say. Just really to follow up what this gentleman said, Mr. Queener. It's very important for people to understand the points that he said, and a lot of people just don't know about that. I have a neighbor that moved in, a young couple, he's got his Tesla, he's got his perfect yard, he's leaf blowing every day, and he looks at my yard, probably says, well, that guy really is pretty lazy, he lets everything grow. So I'm a gardener, and I'm thinking, how do you reach people like that? And how does this committee reach people in the community? Well, I was thinking, just driving the car down the road the other day, that we have this magazine that, well, a lot of people just throw in the trash can, Community Connections for Clemson. It's kind of a magazine, I'm not sure, but I was thinking that if there's some way we could put a page in for sustainability on the back of that, where instead of all the clutter of apps and online, they can look at something in print and read about composting or read about the yard. And I don't know if we have I'm not sure if we have the ability to do that, but it's something to look into.
We do, and we've had a sustainability page in there already, and we do also submit things to the Facebook page, the social media.
Okay, well, I'm
I
a poor reader
appreciate it,
apparently. I'm
but
sorry
you're
about
right, we
that.
could do that more. And if you don't mind, just write your name.
Oh, yes,
your
I'm sorry.
Contact information down, your address, just so we have that you were here, and thanks for coming.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I just suggested that as an additional information which catches eye, the back of the page. So probably that's one of those things we can maybe, small things, we can think about it.
Do we know the next deadline for the community connection submittal?
No, we can
It's the
ask.
Spring one. I meant
Spring.
to send it to you.
Okay.
I'm sorry if I didn't.
Usually it's in January, probably.
I was just wondering if
I'll
we-
send it to you.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, end of December or January,
Yeah,
probably.
she just sent out the initial, request for it, so.
Sweet. Yeah, so Rupert, if you were interested in writing something up or recommending what goes into the community connections, we have done that in the past. So if you've got anything specific we're open ears.
Right.
Yeah, either of you.
Same for you, Jack.
No, there's another thing that is becoming a really useful tool, and that is just these QR codes on things, and you could have a topic of the month in just a little corner of a page, and put a QR code there that links to a topic or two, article or information, and that way you don't have to take 2 pages to print the information there. You just get it out to people, and people who are curious are gonna click on that and see it.
That's a
I'm seeing
great
that everywhere.
suggestion.
I'm seeing it on a table in a restaurant advertising the Main Street program.
Really good suggestion, thank you.
I have another question here, since we are talking about all this information reading. I always feel that the city has this billboard here, the lighted thing, and we always try to announce our events. Last time we missed our announcing our event on that, what it is, this information billboard. I mean, do we put everything, every day something on there, or you just the time and date and temperature?
I really don't know. I know they put events on there,
Yeah, events that do put, yeah.
and that's, Sarah Wickham does that. I don't know how to get something on there other than just to send it to her.
Okay.
Other than that, I really couldn't tell you a whole lot about the sign or the information.
We should make
That would be interesting to find out that if every day there is some kind of,
Yeah, like
Message there.
the council meeting is on there, and it's next week. So they have the date for the next council meeting up there now. Things that were going on at the art center, I've seen up there. So, yeah, but it just, it
Yeah,
could
I
be
mean,
more, because
yeah.
there's more stuff
I was
than,
thinking there are more stuff going on.
Yeah.
And some of the committees things which
I
we are
agree.
discussing to create awareness. Some of the things we can just put, because I read it. I don't know whether everybody reads it or not. Whenever I'm driving by, I try to see that what's written there. So I thought that maybe it will be a good idea. We can definitely find out something worth finding out. Thank you, everybody. Any other question, anything regarding this? Can we move on? Okay. Action items. I have discussed with Tony and other members, probably we have discussed that we skip December meeting. Something to discuss.
What day is it?
That would be probably 14th,
The 10th.
or 10th, okay.
So how many meetings are we required to have?
There's not really a set amount.
Oh,
If we
okay,
don't
I
have
was
a
under the
quorum,
impression there was.
if we don't have a quorum, there's no need to meet.
Right.
Is what Jeremiah said.
I thought there was a
But
minimum.
The
Okay.
committee can choose to omit meetings.
can we make a motion to skip it?
The
'Cause
10th.
if so, I would make a motion to skip the December meeting.
Third.
All in favor?
Discussion.
Oh,
Yeah.
So, we also talked about, instead of meeting in December, making it a working group meeting, since those have to be televised, and breaking it into 3 sections. That was an email chain we had, right,
Yeah.
since our working groups haven't been meeting. So we would need to get rid of the meeting first, so I'm not opposed to the motion. But, it could also be just one of our working groups needs to meet them, that maybe later the working groups can say we need a meeting or we don't, but,
we will find out about it this week, that whether how we are going to manage and organize meet as a working group or as a, yeah.
We already have the model of doing a work session in here. We would just have to have the advance, to where we have the agenda
Agenda, yes.
and all that good stuff.
And somebody who's ready to take notes, minutes and everything.
Yep. It would
So
have to
all
be
that
just
details
like
need
this
to-
meeting.
yeah,
It'd
just
have
like
to be a
any
posted
meeting. But,
agenda and all that.
yes. So, but this motion is for skipping this formal board meeting for our committee for
Yes.
December.
Yes.
Yes, all in favor now?
Aye.
Thank you. So no meeting in December, yes.
So does this come up under open discussion about a working group meeting? That's attractive to me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I feel like we
we'll
stalled.
find out this week. We'll find out about it this week.
So Friday,
Friday we are meeting.
Rita and I are meeting with Jeremiah,
And
Andy, and potentially Tony and Robert to bring to them the problem that our work forward has stopped as a result of the
So-
policy and what is the possibility. So it's a discussion about what
So
is
it's
the
a-
possibility of meeting in working groups again. But just meeting for 1 hour with them doesn't mean it's gonna change and be what we want.
we want to
So-
know exactly. I mean, we don't know yet what are they going to decide and what suggestion they are going to give. As we had discussed this thing before, and there was an email sent to Jeremiah, and he said that he'll get back to us. And I followed that, and on that basis of follow-up, we are meeting this Friday to figure it out that how we can proceed with our group meetings and with our work. So once we meet,
I
then we'll know.
thought they already told us we could do this
We
working
could
group.
meet December 10th or any other time, as long as the room's open and so on, to have a working group meeting televised. But I had spoken with Robert, and I believe you have too, about that really is making it harder to get work done. Could two
Yes,
people
yeah.
just get
Yeah.
together and mark up a document and not call it a meeting? And so that's the point of the discussion. I doubt there'll be a result of that discussion immediately, like next week it's resolved. But that'd be great, I'd be for that. But we could certainly, December 10th, maybe we could just ask, when you give your working group report, would you like a meeting? And if so, we could do it December 10th, and that is certainly allowed, that, we know that. And presumably, we have time then, because it's already on our calendar, so. And we definitely have the room. So why don't we hold that off to see if any working group wants a meeting on December 10th, in addition to what we're trying to work out with Jeremiah.
Since this meeting is always on their calendar, so this room is reserved, but we also have to keep in mind there's a time, I think 2 weeks? Yeah, something like that. We have to inform them at a certain time before they could, what we are planning to do. There's always a time limit.
Well, let's decide after item 1 if any working group wants a meeting December 10th, and then we can say to Tony, we want the meeting. So
Yeah.
let's not discuss that till we know if any working group wants to meet.
Yeah, that's another thing, if you guys want to meet on that date. So let's move on to our next discussion item, which is committee goals, reports, and discussion. Wildlife certification group.
Well, as we just said, we probably have gotten nothing done since the last meeting because we didn't have another meeting. So, Robert, would you want to have a meeting next month?
Yeah, I think that would be good
Okay.
if
I
we're
definitely do.
available. And
Yeah.
the 10th is fine.
Yeah, I had it on my calendar anyway, so it's fine with me.
I do have a little small update, National Wildlife. A troop of Girl Scouts was interested in doing a project. They came and presented to John Heilinger, myself, and Robert Halfacre, and they're going to do some publicity for an educational project for the National Wildlife Federation certification for the city. They're going to present it to their classmates. They're going to come up with a little brochure. It was a great little presentation, and it'll be an ongoing project with them. So that was really cool.
That's neat.
It's going to be a nice little thing, which I think they're going to get some parents to buy in.
What age are they?
They were 8 to 12.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I love that. And for you folks, since you probably don't know, we're trying to get the city of Clemson to be National Wildlife Certified by getting lots of neighbors to have their houses, their yards national, and churches and so on. and parks. So once we get a certain count, then, so this committee is working on getting more and more yards
Yeah.
to do that. So it speaks directly to what
Yeah.
both of
So
you.
that's what,
Right into
that's what I
what
was saying, that
Queen was saying.
our report, that wildlife certification is an ongoing project. And we have done a good job, though. I mean, this committee subgroup has really done a good job of having how many?
We've got
Numbers.
132, I
132
think that's right.
residences, including some public
Well,
places.
it's 132 points, right? Out of the 200?
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
great.
So for your information, we have already done that, and
So
that's
we've
really
got a
good.
long way to go. There's certainly a lot
Yeah.
more than 100 houses in Clemson, so.
Yeah, definitely. But I really liked your idea about going to school and kids, because it just, I thought of it now. Kids are one of the really a good messenger for parents, and at young age understanding and participating. So that's, I think, one of the very good educational approach for our committee to reach out to these school kids and do the presentation about everything, wildlife, other sustainability, energy saving, and how they want, because they all live in this area, of course, these kids, what they would like to see, how would they like to, asking them question and including them that, well, how do they want to see this place? Do they want more parks? Do they want to have more fun? In like botanical garden, Clemson Botanical Garden has such a nice area, the butterfly, and I always go there. I mean, it's just so intriguing to see all that thing. So it's just a good idea to go and approach these kids, whatever we are doing in all these committee, recycling, of course. Kids, they know about recycling, definitely, and other things. And I think I just wanted to share that. That was a really good approach.
So years ago, I and some of these groups, like the student groups for sustainability and the PTA, used to do during Earth Day week, we used to do massive events at Clemson Elementary School, just like that, teaching various green things, offer it to any teacher. Would you like somebody to come in and talk about it? And so I've done that. I've offered it since I'm a little bit less in touch with the kids now that the teachers, now that my kids are in their 20s. But that's something that could come out of our forum last month, is we could contact all these groups prior to Earth Day and say, if any of you would be interested in helping at the elementary school or the high school or whatever, if somebody requests, like somebody, Native Plant Society could go in and show some native plants, right, whatever. So,
I don't want to.
even Citizens Climate Lobby could talk about, any of our groups. So that's a potential idea around, and the teachers were receptive to that around Earth Day.
I don't want to go further off the rails, but I did just participate in a STEM day at an elementary school, and it was very enriching for all participants.
Right.
So.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Kids are really, schools and kids are really a good, I would say, target audience for this kind of thing, educational thing. So maybe we can think about some projects, which is ongoing. What happens if we do once, then it's that day, that event is done, and then, everybody forgets because, there are other things going on. But if we can have some kind of ongoing project, a small project, something which will keep their mind engaged into that thought that, okay, we are working on environment, we want this thing for our city, and what environmental cleanliness is, making them the concept, so thinking about it, so making them aware.
Yeah.
Just a thought, probably. Thank you for listening. Next one is energy efficiency.
So we also haven't met and would be interested in a meeting on December 10th. What is our holdup currently is we've collected some energy efficiency guidelines from various cities, such as, I'm thinking Rock Hill, I'm not remembering what cities.
Mount Pleasant.
And what?
Mount Pleasant?
Mount Pleasant, sorry. And what we need is just the sitting down and combining and coming up with a suggestion for our city. So we also need a meeting to do that. We're also working on it. I don't know how it got to be an agenda item, but we're working on getting more EV chargers in the city. That's not ready for wider discussion, but we need to do some more work on the, so we each had homework and to get back together and talk about the homework.
I'll
So,
get to that and I'll tell you how.
I talked to Ally today, and she wanted to make sure that you knew that she and Cody and Ron had met, and that they're working on that grant.
oh, that's awesome. That's great. Due December 1st. I just got the notice again. Good.
Anything else you can add? All right, so mainly we need to get together with all the groups and then we'll have more things to share, most probably, or some. Thank you, Eunice. Natural resources?
I think we're in the same boat as the other goals for the committee. Without being able to meet, things have fallen pretty stagnant. I've put together the handouts that I've written up, very similar to what Mr. Queener shared today, and I think that the green infrastructure grant is the way forward. I do think if there is enough community concern that this committee could make a recommendation to City Council for a short-term environmental agreement or a short-term rule or whatever it needs to be until we get the green infrastructure, to make sure that the city doesn't do anything or approve anything potentially environmentally devastating. So I've kind of been talking to some people about that, and there seems to be some community interest, but I think the green infrastructure grant is the move forward for natural resources. So
I was gonna wait for staff, but since you brought it up, the reason we wanted to do the green infrastructure plan this go round with the Forestry Commission grant is because when we had the master plan discussions and public input, the second request, the first was trails. That was what everybody wants. Everybody wants trails and connectivity, always. The second was conservation. And that was the second largest input from this town, people who participated.
Great.
So that was the reason for doing this. It not only includes the city, but we invited some university folks as well. So it includes the university land and the botanical gardens. So the map initially shows that the deepest core that we have for habitat is about 100 acres on university land that crosses on the botanical property, crosses on the city property. So there's just your evidence that the three entities here need to work together to make this happen. It'll be interesting to see how it progresses, but it's really encouraging to see it on a map, to see that there still is raw land left for conservation. Folks in planning are on this. So we've got Upstate Forever as a part of it. So we'll see. We got 3 more workshops.
Where in the university,
workshops, okay.
like land? Where?
What the area that's connected to the botanical garden, the woods over there.
Yeah, in the back. Yeah, a lot of fun land. Well, good to know. Yeah.
so if
Interesting.
all 3 groups want to meet December 10th, then someone, potentially you, needs to write up an agenda, and since we meet for about an hour, I'm guessing that would be 20 minutes each, one after the other, perhaps in this order. And I'm just speculating here. You come, so we start with wildlife certification, you get 20 minutes. I wouldn't have to come to that, right? And then the energy efficiency people talk, and then the natural resources people talk. So that's the agenda you're writing. And there can be no motions, right? It's just workshopping. We're sitting together, we're on the mic, we're filmed, but we're workshopping that. Is everybody okay with that for December 10th?
Yeah,
So-
that'd be
I
great.
wrote down 30 minutes, but you said 20.
Well, we do usually meet for an hour and a half, but let's say 25, You know, I mean, it is December, so let's shoot for 25, because there's the transition. And it works for you, because you have to be here. Yeah. All right, so then we can go ahead and tell the city we want the room, and it will be a working group session for the.
Do you want to do the normal time, or do you want to do 6 to 7?
7.
I don't think I'll be here.
I said I have no strong feeling.
Either way, it's
But
30
no.
minutes. So it will be like another meeting then?
So same time.
Yeah, at the same time.
So 6:30 to 7:30 ideally, but potentially up to 8.
Okay, so here's another question I have with all of you, from all of you, that what if they say that you can meet during the daytime, during some other time, separately, all 3 groups? What if you get that approval?
Well, so my goal with this meeting on Friday, personally, you may have a different goal, like meeting on the weekday, but my goal is that some work can happen without television and without video and without minutes and all that, that I can talk to Bob and the 2 of us can work something out without getting in trouble, right? Or I can talk to you.
Well, I mean, even with minutes would be great. I mean, we could always post the minutes afterwards.
Right, kind of like what we were doing before, how could we
Yeah.
get back to that? So that's my goal. So my goal is not to talk schedule and find a time when we can all be on screen. If that's what's required, that's what we'll do, but I just wanted to brainstorm and tell them how for the last, what has it been, 4 months, we can't get any work done.
Yeah.
And that's a problem, and that city government needs to do both transparency and get work done, and what's the compromise, right? Transparency is not the highest goal, it's a goal, right? So that's my agenda on Friday, but you can have a different agenda.
No, it's not about having different agenda. It's thinking about all the other, rules and regulations. So what is required from us?
And
That's
that,
another
we
thing.
know that, but
We-
I want to change that, right? I want to change the transparency a little bit and do a little bit less
I
of it.
think that'd be far down enough. I mean, I understand, that the commission itself has to be televised, and we're so our meetings, because we advise, that makes sense, but it seems like you could take one more step back and just have a working group, just 3 people sitting there talking about what we can get done.
So-
I'll just raise the issue that if we do this, it leaves it open for city council to do it, and that has been raised as an issue.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
And any other city group to do it too. So
Which is part of the reason I want to do it, because the work of government is not happening because somehow Clemson has taken transparency and put it up here, and here's the work of government. And I just want to put transparency on the same shelf.
It's
right?
all based on South Carolina FOIA laws.
Yeah.
That's what it's based on. So South Carolina FOIA law says that if you have a committee, it has to have a posted agenda within a certain amount of time. You have to take minutes. It has to be public. You have to be
Yeah, so
public.
if-
That's all just that's not City of Clemson.
That's-
City of Clemson's basing it on South Carolina
Yeah.
FOIA. That's all that is.
Right, but maybe by January, when we have our next meeting, we can say what after Rita and I have met with Jeremiah for a while, what we've come up with, and we can get back to what
I mean,
to
we
do.
have to work with them. We have to make sure that what we are doing, we continue doing it. So we have to work on it, and
The other thing we could maybe do, so we don't have to have another complete meeting, is we could come in a little early on the days, and we could, that way, at least quarterly, if we came in 20 minutes earlier and had one working group before the meeting every time, then, each working group would meet quarterly, because you'd have 4 meetings per year for each working group if we alternated every month.
but anything which we are doing right here in this room and recording, it has to be recorded. It has to be.
No, that's what I know,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I mean.
That's not a bad idea.
That sounds like a good idea, that, we can meet, each group can meet maybe one of the meetings before 20.
Right,
20
that
years.
way
Yeah.
at least we're not having to come in a completely different
Okay,
schedule
thank
on a
you. Yeah, go
completely
ahead.
different day.
what would, instead of adding another period of time, whether we shorten this meeting to an hour every quarter, and the last 30 minutes is one of the working groups. That way,
That would work.
That's how,
we don't have to change. announcements and.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I have
They
been here
just
since
changed the
4:30.
agenda.
The computer has been set up and ready to go.
Yeah.
All I need to do is talk to IT and ask if we could do multiple recordings and multiple
That
streamings.
sounds like a good idea, that we can shorten this
That would
meeting.
simplify it.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea, and then
Yeah.
we are going to, we are abiding by what you are saying, state rule or whatever it is, because we want to continue working as a group
Yeah,
and
we
working
get
as a
more done.
commission. Yeah, we get more done.
Well, and the
Yeah.
goal with this meeting that Rita and I are having is that we do the pre-work and we tell you about it next time. We don't need to discuss it here, but those are excellent ideas.
No, but
We will
honestly,
take
yeah.
them.
Yeah, we needed
We'll
to
get back
discuss,
with you.
Yeah.
so at least we got some good ideas.
Yeah.
And I think it was a good idea, Nancy, that we can definitely meet before or after.
Yeah, I mean, that would keep it simple, right?
Yeah,
It's the same
yeah.
day, we get everything
Yeah,
And
accomplished.
it's not an extra burden for us. Because
Right.
if we then had to, because I'm on 2 subcommittees, so if we had to then have separate meetings for each one, they come here and televise and then get them on the schedule, and, I mean,
Yeah.
that gets to be a burden on us, and
Yeah, I
this is a
mean, that
good
would just keep it
compromise.
simple. You get a gold star for your suggestion.
Yes, that's a really good, good brainstorming. Yes, so we can, yeah. And I'm sure it will work out, with our, meeting that, if you have more options like this, I think it will be a good idea to discuss these things. These are good options to maintain both sides. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Anyone else has any idea? Well, thanks. Tony, staff report.
If you guys have any questions, this is just kind of nuts and bolts stuff of what's been going on. I was going to talk about the green infrastructure. We've kind of touched on that. And the only other thing I would mention is working on Tree City USA application. This will be 13 years. And then our Arbor Day, which we're doing with
What's the details on that?
I don't have the set place yet.
Okay.
I was looking at the property on Shaw Street.
You have time?
The time would be probably 4 to 4:30 in the afternoon, just because everybody gets off work,
So December 5th, 4:30
and that's flexible.
because, I mean, we're talking less than a month away, so it'd be good to have some specific announcement tonight. So anybody that wants to do it can find it on the city website, December 5th around 4:30. Great.
December 5th,
Tree planting.
4:30.
For Arbor Day. I wanted to ask about the Berkeley Orchard. Are those conceptual drawings for landscape at all, or is it still just?
It's mostly trail right now, trail and infrastructure. So most of the design is trail loop. There'll be a parking area, and then stuff like irrigation, water hookups. And then the orchard, there's no need to put a plan in place until that infrastructure is there. I want to know where that's going to go first, and then we can come in behind that. We are talking species and, for the incidental plantings, not necessarily the orchard plantings. And they're all just typical to what is in that area already. We didn't want to go too far out of the box with the tree plantings. With the orchard plantings, it'll be the figs, the stuff that we don't have to spray. The pollinator meadows will be quite extensive, pecan trees, blueberries, blackberries, those kinds of things.
Wonderful.
It's all engineering stuff right now.
I'm doing a capstone engineering suggestion or design for Berkeley Orchard stream restoration. So we've been meeting with the city about that, but that is separate from my role in this committee. But it's cool stuff.
It is.
Very cool stuff.
Who are the people you're working with?
Classmates.
That's nice. to have young people working on these projects. It's always. Anything else, Tony, you have?
Let's see. Oh, one last thing. January, I asked for another speaker. David Coyle, he's the invasive specialist with Clemson University Extension. The reason I wanted to invite David to come is because we've had a lot of folks come in, such as Rupert, talking about invasive remediation, and I just asked him to do a quick 15, 20 minutes on, you know, the big heavy hitter invasives, plants and insects and whatnot, and just give us a couple little ways of remediating, mitigating those invasives. So I was talking with David because we're going to get on the schedule for the Bradford Pear Bounty next year. That's a program that's been going on. We were the initial host site for several years there, and he's gone off and done different areas, hosted in different areas of the state. So we're going to be coming back on next year, and so Nettles will be another site once again for the Bradford Pear Bounty. And basically that is, if you cut down a Bradford pear tree, you take a selfie with it on the ground in bloom, and you bring that selfie, and we'll give you up to 5 native trees to replace it on your property. So it's a great program that David has.
If we are having a speaker in January, I know, like, I get the messages, if you know, you get the emails that the city council's meeting sustainability. Can we like highlight that we have a speaker, please come?
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just remembering Cody Lingenfeld, we want to have rescheduled, not February, right? We always need a month or so in between, but see if he could come March, April, or May.
Sure.
Because we still would like to talk to him.
And I don't know if we can, but like every time we have public comments, could we make sure that they get the email reminder that we're meeting? Like all the people that came to our Earth Forums,
Yes.
anybody that, you know.
That's a good idea to send email to people for whenever we have a speaker, and we would like, so we would like you, all 3 of you, to share your email. Actually, of course, you know, Jack has the email, other people's.
Because not everybody is on that
So we
city
can
email
include you.
list. But if they've come to a meeting, it might be, you know,
That
hey,
would be
this is.
They're interested.
Very, yeah,
Yeah.
obviously.
Although remember, you have to get your email approved by the city to send it
Yeah.
out. That'd be work for you, but, yeah.
I mean, we'll just add those names. We already have 36 names already. And
But remember, when we were sending emails for the Earth Forum to our list, we were not allowed to send an email. It had to go through the city.
yeah, it has to go through the city if we want to send the email.
Thank you, Tony.
Of course, our agenda is going to be approved by the city anyway.
I've got some homework.
Yes.
That's all.
Yeah,
I got.
we have to find out that, you know, of course, that can we send email to these people for our regular meetings, like, I mean, since people know we are meeting every month, second Wednesday. And
Only if, well, but unless you're paying attention, like if you're on the city email list, they'll know. People will forget, you know, if they're not getting these regular emails, they get busy with stuff. But if people get a reminder, it might be like, oh, wait, you know, maybe I can make it.
yeah, we can ask these things. These are some things which we can ask the city that can
Or
we
like
do
you were
this?
saying on the sign out here,
Yeah.
even, you know.
Yeah.
That's right, exactly. We have a speaker
Yeah.
on the state. So that, and anything goes there, it has to be approved by the city, of course.
Yeah.
So I have to go through that. We have to find out about it. That how we put that kind of information for public. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you all of you for this discussion. Any other suggestion or discussion? No? Then we can move on to the next. Art Forum recap. Thank you, Tony. Art Forum recap.
Do you want me to recap it?
We
We had
came
a-
with
We had a really good
I think it was
We
fantastic.
did.
And the apple juice was fresh, and the muscadines were delicious. Actually, the muscadines were fresh, and the apple juice was delicious. And we had a lot of great speakers, and I don't know if that's on the internet anywhere with
It is.
with the
So,
city page.
there was a hiccup. There was a hiccup with that recording. We thought it was lost, but then it showed up magically. So now it is posted, so we can get a link. That would be a cool link to share.
That would be a great one to put on our website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody should listen and see if the speakers' voices are really on, our voices are covered, but somebody should would somebody be willing to go in there and just check that we can actually hear the speakers?
But I think, and two, it was like, everybody talked afterwards, so it's like,
Yeah.
how do we keep that momentum going?
Right.
The next steps.
We have an email exchange where I remember somebody suggested doing it twice a year, and I suggested, what if we went to the location of some of the speakers for a social meeting? For example, unfortunately, the Botanical Garden didn't come, but what if we had a social at the Botanical Garden and invite everybody, right? Once a year, and then once a year do something like we did. Or at the native plant sale, right? Whenever that is, I don't know. Or at the walk to school day, right? What if we let everybody come and invite all the groups? So that was one idea we had. We did, for example, recently have the 10th anniversary of the Green Crescent Trail, and we could have just invited everybody and say, let's all celebrate. This group has been around 10 years. So when things like that come up, the groups would have to tell us, and we could be the intermediary to say, this is happening, this is significant, everybody come.
Right.
Or maybe one of them could be
Yes.
pick the lead, and then we wouldn't have to worry about
Yes.
city.
Yes.
That is a wonderful idea.
Yeah, that would take.
Maybe a next step would be to send out a thank you email, because I think we were all
Yes.
unsure whether or not we could even do that. So if we can get permission from the city to send out a thank you email, I think that would be greatly
I
appreciated.
think that, yes.
And as we do that, we can have follow-up next steps. So, in order to get permission from the city, we would need a draft of that thank you
Yeah,
email.
so we can get it approved.
And I'm going into exam season, so nose goes. But I think those are great next steps, and we can put out there the question, who would like to take the lead, and maybe host something for these people and many more, because we do want to keep that momentum going, and I think we can kind of play hot potato with who's hosting.
Yeah. Yeah, and these, not actually in the room now anymore, you can do it at those sites, outdoors, sites. It's always exciting to be outdoor in that kind of environment where we can feel the energy and know what we are talking about.
Right.
Yeah, we missed that Green Crescent Trail 10th anniversary. You were saying we could have had something like that. So we should keep those things probably on our mind, and with all the other emails, we should maybe remind those kind of things for the email, in the email.
I do have a little
What
hot
events?
drink holder dispenser mechanism that I've inherited. So if we want to meet in January or February, we can have cocoa.
With marshmallows?
Always.
We can have it even today, so. Well, yeah, that's a good idea, that's a very good idea, and of course, then we should talk about then drafting a thank you note for all the participants.
That's great that you're doing that, we're pleased. And I'd be happy to help you.
Yeah.
Send it out.
Definitely, I mean, that should be done, sending thank you note, and then maybe he can I can draft a thank you note, but how do you want to invite them or tell them about hosting this thing? We should just ask them that, we would like to maintain the momentum and would like to invite you to.
One follow-up would certainly be, we hope to do this again next fall, but between now and
Between
next
now and
fall,
then,
if you
yeah.
have an event that
Yeah.
you could invite everyone to, could you let us or each other know?
I mean, they could just respond all to the
Right.
email.
Right.
Yeah.
Reply
Provide
all,
them all the email addresses.
reply all if you have an event that we could all come to at your location. Not all of them have a location, of course, but.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
We can definitely, and we can meet, even Art Center is a good place to really meet or do something to include them into our, any kind of endeavor and.
Well, in Clemson area, Food Exchange is a great location too. In the spring, we often have a potluck. You eat local foods, you know, the local
Yes.
foods potluck, and everybody could be invited to that.
That's a good Earth Forum
Lance
recap.
always
Yeah.
wants more people to come.
Yeah.
Good move, good going.
So can we do one thing? Like we talked about all the idea, I know Nancy is taking notes, but can we do it methodically and put all these things which we talked about, the ideas, having potluck and this and that, all the things, like in a list of 5, 6 items?
Sure, I can put
Yeah.
that together for you.
Yeah, we can put that together. So it's for us also, it's a reminder and reminder to work on it. As an item to work on it, rather than just, I know she's taking notes and it will be part of our minutes, but then this is our assignment kind of thing. And then we can share it in our emails.
I just wanted to say that everybody I spoke with after the Earth Forum, 100%, everybody I spoke with asked if we could do them twice a year instead of once a year, because it was so informative, and they loved it, and they were just asking if it would be possible to have it twice a year.
Yeah, I would like to see us do what we did earlier, cancel the meeting and then sit here around a table and look at each other and not have the formality of needing minutes and, you know, so what if whatever, September, whenever we decide, we skip our meeting and do an Earth Forum. And then a second time of year, we do it, as I said, more of a social, right? A potluck or a walk together or whatever. And I think that's allowed, to skip our meetings. Because that was a little awkward, I thought, having to do the minutes and the agenda and all that kind of stuff.
But I think I see what you're saying, but the other piece is that by having them come up, like if you have a social, sometimes you get interrupted. Like when they came up and spoke, they had that time.
They had the floor.
They had the floor. And people paid attention to each person.
Yeah, but if we had a table in there and we were all sitting around and we just went around the table, okay, you're next, you're next, you're next, they'd still have the floor.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't be up here and there, down there, and we wouldn't have this, you know, you're the, like, right, remember there was a group that we added that we didn't know to add? So to have it be a little bit more informal, but still, yes, each group gets to talk and gets the floor, but less of an officialness about it would be my preference.
Yes, but I think it's also important that they know about this group, what we are doing, and our identity as a group, what our, you know, this is what our goal is and what are we planning to do. I mean, we can skip some of the meeting things maybe, but to see them as our sustainability committee board and meeting them, felt that kind of, you know, made them important, that they are presenting to the group. It's not just informally they are sharing things, but they are sharing with an entity which has which has a goal to suggest to our city what we are planning to do, and their voice is heard through us.
The other good thing about it is that it was a recording that can be revisited, and it's very clear. I'll check the audio, but you could go back and watch that thing over and over and over again and get to see each person. You could do a QR code to that meeting and say, hey, here are the other things that are going on, and it could be a reference point. So it's nice to see that individual with that name. It was a good introduction.
Yeah.
You know, and then maybe the next time it could be less formal, since the groups have the introduction.
Yeah, I mean, we can skip our agenda, I mean, meeting, but we do need to be like, okay, we are presenting them, so they know that their voice is heard and they're, you know, it's important and it's going through us and we are going to represent them. And we are doing, that's what we are doing. We heard all of them and then we recorded all the stuff which they discussed, we discussed, and we wanted to be on the same page, and we are online with that. So that's what we are trying to promote. So, I mean, yeah, there are many opportunities and many formats which we can definitely, but as we all know that it has to be approved by the city, whatever we do, and they have to be, we have to be heard by the city, and everything has to be recorded. It's important for us also to work as a group. Thank you for such a wonderful, absolutely great ideas. Really, really nice. And yeah, twice a year makes sense.
I mean,
Keep
everybody.
our momentum, for us also, to be really knowing, what we are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very, the feedback that I got from everybody afterwards, everybody was so enthusiastic, and they were just like, can you do it twice a year?
Yeah.
Everybody.
I did hear that too,
Yeah.
yes. It's really wonderful, and our mayor showed up, which was very nice of him. He rushed from whatever the event was going on. That shows his support, and we are very thankful for that. Nanda, toxic burning update.
Yeah, so in regards to the, there's been some toxic burning going on in the proximity of Nettles Park that we talked about last meeting. And there's been more reports from residents of it happening, and they tell me, so I get all the information and any evidence that they might have, like by pictures that they may have taken, and forward it to South Carolina Department of Environmental Services, who has this open, and they've been investigating it and doing site visits. So the last time there was a site visit done, I'm looking at my phone because my notes are on here. Just the last time a site visit was done was on October the 23rd, and there was a resident who frequents the dog park there who immediately smelled, he said it was an acrid smell. I've never heard of that term before, so I had to Google it, honestly. I said, what's acrid mean? What is that? Can you explain that smell? And he said it was like bitter, kind of like acrid. So I Googled it, so I understood what he was talking about. But he went right down his throat. He was coughing for 2 days, like immediate symptoms. And he took pictures of where the smoke was coming from. So all that information, I gave it to the inspector. The inspector went a couple of days after that. No, it was like a week after that. And he did see the fire pit upon his walkthrough. He saw the fire pit, but he saw evidence of like different types of wood that was burning, whether it was from trees or other types of wood, but he didn't see anything that he thought was toxic. And when I asked him, well, can you take some ashes from the pit and have it tested? Because treated wood can, when it burns, it can release, arsenic. Right, and that's treated wood if it burns. And they can test that. And the inspector informed me that they don't really have, their testing, where they do the lab where they do their testing is not that sophisticated because they don't have the funds for it. So for him to take ash and have them ask to have it tested for arsenic is not possible right now. So really any kind of testing isn't really possible. So for me, that was disturbing because how are we not able to test? And they definitely can't do any air quality test at all because that involves, the way you explained it, it involves a mobile unit that needs to be taken to wherever the burn site is. It costs a lot of money. The regional office doesn't have that. They would have to get it from the state. They would have to come here. It's very expensive. They're just not going to do it. So those two roadblocks was not good news for me to hear because it's like, then how do you find stuff? How do you make your conclusions? And he informed me that they just do a site visit, what he sees, and if it's something that's really serious in his eyes, from his experience, he will take some samples and try to get it tested. But right now, what he's seen at that burn site didn't warrant that. But we are to continue giving him information, any more instances, many pictures as we can, and he'll keep going out, he'll keep doing that, and if he sees something that's really catches his eye, then he'll do more. But at this point, he's done everything that he can do. He's very receptive to the information that he gets. He just asks that we keep our eyes open for it and give him as much information as possible and as many pictures as possible if we can.
Is it typical to take a week after you call him to make the
Yeah.
visit? So that, I mean, it's like,
Yeah. Yeah, and the burnings, there's one thing that I did inform him, because the burnings happen between 9 and 9:15, and then it's done. 9:15 a.m., 9 a.m. to 9:15.
15 minutes, yes.
Yeah, for like 15 minutes, they're burning, and then and they're very, the people who are burning are very good at hiding it, hiding their tracks. And I informed the inspector of that. I said, look out, when you do your walkthrough, look outside the box, look outside the fire pit, look in the, go all the way around the property, not just where the burn site is.
What, while they're burning, when you see that between 9 and 9:15 they're burning, can somebody just come,
No.
the fire department?
Unfortunately
Can
not. He's coming from Anderson, and they're technically across the street from Nettles, because Nettles Park, like anything that's not Nettles Park, that's on the other side, or like on this side of it, is all Anderson County. Nettles Park has been annexed into the city of Clemson. It hasn't been annexed?
Yes.
It has? But I
You
mean,
just can't talk about the exact location.
no,
where
I'm
this
not
is
talking about the
happening.
exact location. I'm just saying the guy is coming from Anderson
You
County
just can't
because.
talk about the exact location of where this is happening.
Yeah, but it's in Anderson County, and to answer your question, is the guy's coming from Anderson County, but he has other stops to make before he gets there, right? So, and I even asked him that, and he said he can't time it like that, because it takes over an hour to get to work from home, and then it takes whatever his schedule is for that day already, then it takes another 40 minutes to get to there.
Can you take the help of police or the fire department?
It would be Anderson County or the city of Pendleton.
City of Pendleton can do?
They haven't. We can keep calling, but they just haven't responded to anything like that yet. So what this inspector has asked us is to just keep letting them know about these and take as many pictures as possible, and just give it to him, and he can only do what he can do, were his words. Yeah. So the fact that it's that it's not, it's a different county and everything puts a little wrinkle into it too.
What about the surrounding residents, people? Can they just?
Anybody can. Mhm.
Yeah, as soon as they smell, as soon as they know that there's a burning going on, they can walk there, they can go there and just.
Well,
see the people and take pictures.
The property there, that's in question, they have guns and know how to use them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I wouldn't go into somebody's
So,
private property
and they don't have
and tell them what to do.
Well, they don't have no trespassing signs on their property or anything like that. And the first time that the inspector went to do a site visit, he felt comfortable going and knocking on the door because there was no trespassing sign on the property. So the fact that there was no signing saying nobody come here, and he felt comfortable, it was in the middle of the day, he went and knocked on the door. That was the first site visit like 6 months ago, when this all started getting documented. But now the last one was on the 23rd of October. He found the burn site. Nothing piqued his attention enough to go any further with it. He just said, just keep giving us information and take pictures whenever possible.
Well, thank you so much for giving a detailed report on this, and let's hope something, it's like catching a thief, So let's play.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously would be less complicated if it wasn't a different county.
Yeah, I understand. Well, let's move on. We have only 15 minutes left. Let's move on to our next discuss suggesting updates to city website sustainability section. Eunice.
So I resent the email to you today that I had sent out last month after our meeting, but this comes from the Energy Efficiency Working Group that met, 5 months ago, that we noticed our website that says sustainability, and of course, Mr. Queener pointed out the site that says Grow a Greener Clemson, both could use some updates. And so I sent you some suggestions. It's not our job to write those, of course, but we can send those suggestions to the staff. And you probably saw the email from Tony saying that Sarah Whitcomb will have those suggestions then from us. You're gonna send it to her?
I will.
You have a long list to do.
I do.
And then
Guys are
I
killing me.
left blanks for the city employees to figure out, however many buses, however many routes, whatever, however many trails. And obviously, there's no deadline to this. It's just that it is rather antiquated now. So I'm just recommending, which I assume you all agree with, that we update that and that we let our professional writers do that. Is everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Is this a motion?
No, it's just that
Does it need to
we're,
be a motion?
well, I think we can't have it be a motion,
It'd have to be on the next agenda.
but,
That's what I'm thinking.
but we don't need to do that. We're recommending to Sarah that she update it, and we've made a few suggestions. And I had sent this to you last month, just to ask you if you had any other suggestions. But she can do that too. She knows what's going on sustainably.
Here's what happened with the website. The prior website, we had just created a little page for urban land. We'd included sustainability initiatives just with our department. And when they created the new website, she just sort of cherry picked that and set it up to add to later. That later's never happened, so, and that's not Sarah's fault.
No.
So this is just a work in progress.
Right, and it will continue to be, but we're just suggesting she do it. And
Absolutely.
she'll do that, and I don't think we need a motion. Simpler is better.
Yeah.
And hopefully, because one of the things that National Wildlife Federation recommended for us to do was do some updates to the website about their project. So I know she's talked to them too, so hopefully that'll get updated at the same time.
Great.
She'll take those recommendations. So that'd
And
be
then
awesome.
the second item there, I'm not sure why that's on the agenda, but I was given the task of finding out from the city. So I must have sent an email, maybe that's how it got on the agenda. I sent it to the city, the employees, so Tony and company. What is the history of how EV chargers have been approached? So if we're trying to get more chargers, let's not reinvent the wheel. If the city's already done something,
Great idea.
we just want to know what the city already has done. So that's a question that I just need to know who to ask.
Yeah, I put that on there
Yeah.
because of your email. And in my opinion, it needed to be a discussion with the Sustainability Committee if it's going to be a recommendation from the committee. That was the reason that I put it on the agenda.
Well, we're not recommending installation of EV chargers, although that would be great. But as we work toward finding funding to get more EV chargers and figure out, will it be in the Ingalls parking lot or will it be on city property or all that stuff, which is part of our work. We just wanted to know history-wise what already has happened. So has the city in the past looked into this?
Yes.
Is there an employee?
Yes.
So that's the reason I sent the email, not the committee would also like to know that, but we're not to the place yet. We've looked at several things, like asking some of the grocers or the businesses, or asking the city, or looking at grants, and we're still looking into that.
I have a question about this kind of process of figuring out what the city, has done, or, any ongoing things. Is this something that a citizen could submit a FOIA request for and get the information of how exactly EV chargers have been obtained in the past?
I suppose so, if it's on an email.
Okay.
Well, at an energy efficiency group, you can make that request.
But you know what employee I could talk to and just get the history?
Yeah, the only thing that I know, that I'm aware of, is that a couple of years ago, Andy was looking into getting some chargers installed citywide. One of the places was here at City Hall. I met with a contractor. We looked at a footprint and marked it off. and then nothing. I don't know what happened.
Well,
So
that's
Andy,
what we wanted to know.
Andy would be the person
What happened,
to-
what were the roadblocks, why should we reinvent the wheel? The city probably already knows something. So I can talk to Andy about that. So that was the reason for the email, but I'm assuming all of you would be in favor of more EV chargers, but we're not ready to recommend a place or a funder or a, there's vast amounts of information about this that we are not, that's what I said, the working group not meeting slows the process down
Yeah.
because we're still going through
Because
all of that.
remember that we also talked about it, that EV charger is not a simple thing, that
Oh,
is not
no.
like, it's a huge technical,
Right.
responsibility and take up.
So I think
So
the
it's-
agenda
yeah.
is, where it says discuss recommending the installation of EV chargers in the city. I don't think we're ready to do that, recommend that yet. We just want to know what has the city done and why didn't it work before we recommend it. And then when we recommend it, we
Okay.
hope to have a
And
few
we'll know-
funders and locations and an
Yeah.
actual
So
proposal.
you are going to go ahead and
Talk to Andy.
Andy, okay.
So you can take that off the agenda is what I'm saying. It's incorrect.
Eunice, just so you know, I drive around a lot every day, and I've been looking for, I have a notebook in my car, and I have been writing down locations that I thought would be good EV charging locations if, whenever we came to that point to make any kind of recommendations.
Great.
Things that places maybe we didn't even think about. Just I see them when I'm driving around, it's like, ooh, that would be a good place.
Well, and also, as you're driving around, where are they, right? Like, for example, the Ingalls in Seneca has one, but not the Ingalls in Central. Why is that, right? It's useful to know. Maybe that company Ingalls is open to that, right? Or the one at the Cat Bus site or so on.
It would be interesting to go talk to the general manager at the Ingalls in Seneca and ask him that question. That'd
Yeah.
probably be, because I've tried to get the Walmart people on the phone, forget it, so.
Yeah, we've been working away at this, back when we used to be having meetings. So I'll talk to Andy and find out why it didn't work. That's what we
this was a
want.
nice discussion here about it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm happy to discuss it further. I'm not saying don't talk about it, but we're not
No,
that
I'm
far yet.
glad, yeah, we talked about it, so now you know what
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Ines. And next thing is open discussion, new business. Anything?
What was this?
New business?
New business? Any other discussion?
I wanted to ask, again, for clarification about, like, do we need to, because I know it's a two-step process, so I guess this is a point of order. If we wanted to make a motion, and have something passed, that has to be introduced, like, say we wanted to do it in January. Did it have to be introduced in this meeting, in new business?
No.
In December.
No.
December.
Well, yeah, but we're
So
not.
when,
gonna
when
do
we do our agenda, we will ask you guys that, anything you want to have added in the agenda.
Any agenda items or any motions
Any
that you
motions or
want on
anything you
the
want to add,
agenda.
it has to be before we set our agenda for next
Okay, it
meeting
just
in
needs to be
January.
on the agenda for the meeting,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Action items
Yeah,
have to
any
be
action,
on the
yeah.
agenda.
Understood, okay. So, do we need an action item to ask the city to put our meetings on the board outside of here? Like as a standing practice? Because they probably don't wanna do that for every subcommittee. But does our
For the main
subcommittee
meetings.
need to ask formally to do that? Or is that something that we could just get done?
First of all, we'll talk about it. I want to find out that how it works. Yeah.
I have it on my homework list.
Yeah, so he's,
Oh, man.
so once he finds out, once he finds out the information, then we'll definitely, then it's easy and
Okay.
just go through the process.
That's all.
Once we know what we are allowed to do, what we are not allowed to, what's the process, what's the protocol, once we know that, it's a lot easier for us to generate the, event message or anything like that. But the main thing is that we need to know the protocol and we need to follow the protocol, whatever we do. Make sense? Well,
I will throw
Yes.
one other thing out. I finish up in December, so y'all might want to think about another person to be secretary. And you, is your,
What's happening?
You're 1 year lead.
So am I done in December?
You have to, if you want to come back, you have to submit,
An application.
come back.
yeah.
And that's
Mine
in
too.
December is when that lapses?
December 1st, you have to put in an application if you want to reapply.
Okay.
That's a deadline, December 1st.
Before December 1st, not starting December 1st?
No.
I think you can do it already, and you can
I
do it up
think I
through
saw
January.
it's, on the website, I did see the form, so you can go ahead and.
Yeah,
Yeah, I did
and the
see that.
deadline to get it in is December 1st.
Yeah,
And then in January, we're gonna redo the whole structure, the chair, vice chair, secretary, all that? Okay.
and, yeah, it's a good idea. Actually, we should have done some things in September, but I don't think we did that, no. But we will do that in New Year. Definitely, we're going to revisit our goals, it's just a good idea to look back and what we have done and what we need to do, and based on that, we should revisit our goals and our mission statement, that kind of thing.
Is that January?
Yeah, in January we are meeting. I mean, technically we did it in, we finished 1 year in September, but January is,
It may be the February meeting because I think the January council meeting, they pick the
okay,
new people,
okay,
if they pick new people.
That's right.
yeah, maybe not.
Okay.
Nancy, I'm looking at her and telling her this thing. The form is there on the online. Well, that's so wonderful. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for, yes.
Did you have a question?
Anybody have any question?
We have a question.
Just one more topic before my coach turns into a pumpkin.
Only if it's short, because we like to
Short, very
quit
short.
it.
I heard you seeking ideas of how to get these things out, and the school systems have used character topic of the month. You could pick a sustainability topic of the month, and you could put it into a lot of different places. I mentioned QR codes earlier. Utility bills, I don't know how the city's utility billing system works, but there's an option there. Everybody gets a utility bill. A little QR code down in the corner and 2 lines about the sustainability topic. Is that quick enough for you?
Thank you so much. Thank you for your input.
Motion to adjourn.
I second. All in favor?